Hello there! Do not click away just yet, because this episode is gonna be great. We are bringing in the Sloth Bear, and we're going to finish this wonderful little entrance area, including a souvenir shop. As you can see, there's a bit of a fake souvenir at the beginning already. There's like a little shop placed down. Oh my lord. Are you okay? Are you doing good? What's the problem? Hello? Oh my god. Okay, oh, she's fine. Okay, no, she's fine. Okay, anyways. No, she isn't fine anymore. Okay, but, you know, we're gonna take the mood of that lady and going to bring that through today's episode. We're going to, first of all, let me zoom out and show you what's going on today to give you a little bit of a, you know, route planning over here. So we are going to start making sure that this building is set and in place with all its needs, and we are going to work on this building every single episode during the entire build, because that's only gonna be our main focus. And a couple of things need to change over time. And then the Sloth Bear is going to make its appearance in here. If you are interested in the full story behind, you better check this video out, because I'm going to name the one who had the best story. As you know, every single episode we are going to have a story. But before we go in, let's actually get a Sloth Bear, you know? Shall we just do that? And this is gonna be it. I will name them later on after the story that has been told in the comments. Okay, we're gonna go for this Rohan. It's gonna be changed. There's a lot of name changing involved. Getting that one first, and let's see for the female variant. Yeah, kind of okay. Let's refresh it one more time. Oh, look at that. Now, longevity isn't good. Oh, that is... I don't want to go for an albino at this point, to be honest. So, let's not... what was that? Cystic? Anyways. Yeah, but the habitat is going to be sitting over here, but... the nature will be sculpted a bit different. We are going to use a little bit of a hill over here. I want to have like a really nice hill that hugs the street a bit on this side, and then the habitat will be partly inside of this, and we're going to have a little bit of a lower down area in this triangle here. From which the people can have a bit of a lower view to them, because I want to make sure that this habitat uses different height elevations for the Sloth Bear to climb a little, go up and down, you know. It's not that biggest animal ever, so it's not going to be like a huge habitat in terms of overall traversable area, but it's going to be a bit bigger because, as always, you know, the game traversable area, not the best trends out there. But yeah, enough talky talk for the beginning. Let's actually go into the time lapse. And here we go with the future Rudy from the time-lapse. Now, as the guitar in the background turns in and we are up for a little bit of a cozy commentary, though just a spoiler ahead, in a couple of minutes I'm gonna tell you the story behind the Sloth Bears. I did bring together two people from the comment section, so if you're gonna wanna know who that is, stick with me. In a couple of minutes I'm going to explain. But first of all, we're going to look at the souvenir shop, and I'm also not going to be with you for the entire time. I will actually leave you with some beautiful cozy music and some terraforming and nature work, because you guys asked me to leave that in, and that was quite a bit of cutting work I had to do over here, because this episode took longer than expected because I loved it so much. It was such a blast building, and a week ago I thought this DLC, this update, this free update will not really bring anything back in terms of vibe and, you know, whatever. But it's exactly the opposite. Sometimes you really cannot explain why, but I'm just back in such a mood. I've got a very good audiobook now on my ears again to listen to while I'm building. So I have like these two things paired. I want to listen to the audiobook and I want to keep on building. So yeah, I spent a tremendous amount of effort this time into making sure everything is really perfectly aligned and super realistic. Like the entire makeup of it, the entire setting, the entire, you know, look and feel. I am super proud of it. And specifically the shop, as you can see, it will turn out very nice, though I may just add, this is not the finished version of the shop. It's just the basic layout for me to understand where certain things go, just to give you a bit of an idea of how these souvenir shops works if you haven't seen that anywhere else already. So basically you just put down the floor, and the floor defines where the shop items can go, and as soon as you put down these shelf items on the ground and you select something that is displayed in there, they are automatically connected to the shop that you are building on. However, you need to actually leave a little bit of space. You always have to leave the space, you know, as a famous Spaniard said. you have to always leave a little bit of space where people can walk around and actually get to these shelves. So that means for those who have no double-sided display, which have like a backside, you can put them all the way to the wall. But all these other ones that you can put in the middle, like these rounded ones over here, they require a certain, hitbox free around themselves, which I think is beautiful because people can actually access that. Now, we go back into the habitat, and just before I tell you the story of our two sloth bears, let me just quickly introduce you to where the main building is located. Now, this main building is meant to be housing the sloth bears, and also it's directly next to the wild boar habitat. At the beginning, I thought it's going to be one building, but I figured it's better to have two separate ones, because in between, there's like a narrow little way to a tiny backstage area where our staff members can rest for a bit and maybe get a couple of things like, tools and maybe some waste storage and stuff like that. Something that even in a wildlife reserve, you may not want to have on the ground. It's definitely different than a zoo. You do not have these kind of facility pathways and stuff like that. So you need to work around that a bit. As for the design, I wanted to go for a very simplistic kind of wooden shelter vibe paired with some plaster, making sure it gets a bit of character by adding some planks. And then for the roofing, going with another simple material with the corrugated metal scraps and stuff like that, just making sure that it looks somewhat neat and so on. And once I figured the basic layout, I, as always, needed to understand if I want to have some windows, and I figured, yeah, but I just didn't want to slap some simple windows on. I wanted to actually make a window. For those of you who've been in stream, the struggle always to make these things, because you need to properly align that, and once you've done that, you have to fight a certain grid, and you have to find something even worse. The gizmo. We need that more dramatic. The gizmo. Because as soon as you have it, there you go. Look at that. You can't really place it perfectly fine. And you always have to get yourself a ruler in or something like that to just really bring that perfectly fine in. So as for the quality of life updates, we got so many things, just like the multi-select color option and stuff like that. If you have, by the way, if you do not know about that, and it took me quite a while to figure out what they mean, but if you click on an item with the multi-select tool enabled, and then you hold down the left alt key, it will automatically select all the pieces that have this very color on them. And so you can recolor this very color piece. It's almost like a color pipette in Photoshop or a Blender or whatever you're using. So that's a very beautiful function. Then we have to talk about the realism aspect of this build. I asked you guys before the DLC dropped, and you guys all answered that you are in for some realistic builds this time. Actually, with the vast majority of people, I think out of 4 options, this was by far, with over 50%, the highest voted one. So I was a bit surprised, but also very happy, because I'm, going into the realistic kind of thing again. For those who do not know, maybe you guys are the first time ever in here, or you never listened to my voiceover, and for whatever reason you made it to this point. First of all, hey, nice to meet you here in the middle of the video. Thank you for watching this far. Now you can go all the way to the end. Thank you so much. And also, the realistic means basically as realistic as it can be, but also doing some shortcuts here and there, to be blankly honest, where it's not necessarily needed. Sometimes you can go this extra mile, and I know a lot of people, like Eben, for example, are also, other people from Bro Nation specifically, they go all the way. They are on a level of realism that I just simply cannot comprehend. So yeah, realism is really the way to go for them. I love it, it looks really, really good, but it also stops you from achieving something bigger at some point. And so this build is really focused on realism, like in terms of layout, in terms of the style, in terms of the usage of materials, in terms of using weathering effects, in terms of size, and these kind of things, in terms of realism when it comes to escaping options, in terms of realism, like these things I want to consider, but I'm just not going to build like the full backstage area with all the little pipe connections that would be required and all the power lines, and just like finding this perfect middle ground to make it look and feel super realistic. but not in every single corner you could potentially go. Okay, we need to talk about this very area real quick. This is the front of our main shelter, and during the stream I decided I had to change it a little. So first of all, this is the moment where I'm moving this building away from the other to open up the space in between, and then I decided we need to have like a little bit of a taller building just in front of it, which potentially could have made later on. So if this habitat would have been repurposed for our sloth bears, for example, but as I said, in a couple of minutes, in a second, we are getting towards the story, so stick with me. Then it could have been added later. And so whenever there's like weather is not perfectly fine again for them, then they can go in and there's a tiny space where they can at least do some climbing, do some scratching, do some stretching as well, and just give them a tiny bit more space to move, you know? That is the basic idea of it. Okay, but now as we're mostly done with the building, let me introduce you to the story of our 2 sloth bears that are getting in. It's a male and a female. And the reason for that is most of you guys came up with only 1 male, which I do get because most of the times they are held as an individual. But I went for the option to go with 2 as like an effort to maybe go even into making them breed and see, you know, if they can secure that very wonderful species. And I'm just gonna read that out. You will find your own story in there if you know who you are, you know, and afterwards I'm gonna say who that was, and just trust me, I changed up tiny bits to make it fit together, but here we go. Freddy the sloth bear found a second chance at life after being rescued from a dismal existence in a circus in India. Now residing at Hirscheck, Freddy enjoys a peaceful heaven where he can exhibit natural behaviors, with caring staff ensuring his well-being. Freddy's story serves as a testament to the transformative power of rescue efforts and the importance of providing animals with environments that prioritize their welfare and innate instincts. As addition, the reserve rescued an injured female called Dila from another illegal zoo with no security measurements for the animals. Together both found a new home in Hirscheck, in a repurposed habitat for their needs. Credits go to Bisonemo and Oreo Faro. Thank you guys for providing a story. I will do this exactly this way with all the other ones, so make sure to put the stories in. And I found this a wonderful story, and I even learned that in India they are still held as circus animals to do some, you know, waving, winking, whatever. So yeah, that is not beautiful at all. So I'm really pleased that I can introduce them to my wildlife reserve over here, because these stories are in that sense very important, simply because it's not the absolute most realistic thing to have like a sloth bear in a German inspired or maybe even German located wildlife reserve. That's technically not the animal you would have in here. So it's way more easy for the swan, for the wild boar, for the recent. These stories will be a lot more straightforward, I assume. So by the way, you don't need to go for the next animal, okay? The next animal will be between maybe the recent and the takin. I'm not entirely sure. It potentially is going to be the takin, but yeah, like you can also vote, okay? You can also tell me what should be the next animal. Please tell me in the comments, but also tell me a story. You can choose from all the animals. If you've seen the first episode of season 2, you know which one we are going to introduce. And there were also some good comments of other animals, like for example the Arctic fox, which I believe was a great idea, because a wildlife reserve that is literally just 5 minutes by foot away from me here, where I live, they do have some Arctic foxes. And it's been the first time in my life that I've seen them there. I didn't know until last year when I went there with my little one that they had them. And oh boy, these animals are so cute. They are so freaking cute. But yeah, that said, I'm very happy how this turned out. You will see this in the real-time part at the end. It's so beautiful for our 2 animals, and please keep on giving me these stories. I'm loving to make this video this way. I'm loving to tell the story. I'm loving to follow the idea of repurposing habitats, and honestly, I'm mega proud of this build. I haven't been that proud of a build in a long time, simply because I enjoyed doing it from the beginning to the end with all its matters and with all its special things. But yeah, that should be it from my voiceover for the time-lapse. You now get a couple of minutes, like 6-ish minutes of music and enjoyable placing of rocks and nature. So enjoy that, and then I'll be back with you when the real-time Rudy hits. Okay, here we are now in the actual file. This is the lake. This is where we are going in a second. And I want to spoil already that I am insanely happy with the build. Like, this is... I know I say that sometimes, but it's a good sign that you improve over time. But this is one of my best builds I've ever done. Specifically when it comes to so many things, including the usage of space, usage of elevations, the nature itself, the fit for the entire build. I think a lot of things just really tie into now. Yeah, there's like a sloth bear just lying over here, as you can see, in the grass. Look at that. You've got that supported glass over here, obviously. That's heavy security glass, and a little water tap for them to be in. You've got that broken wall that I took inspiration from other areas, like zoo chat area, pictures I found. And once we go up into the other viewing opportunity that I included in this build, where we have a bit of a more meshy security, we go in here. And this is where you can also see them. Like, realistically, there would be some electricity also involved in here. I had something in here as a security, but this just destroyed the traversable area. We talked about this enough in the time-lapse, but, I just see that very nice. We've got a forage wall on top of here, so you have another nice little difference in elevation, which makes the whole habitat so much more realistic. And like, from the viewing points, it's really like in a wildlife reserve. They have so much privacy in here. They can go into the back, and there's enough for them to cover behind. And especially in this space over here, you can't really tell where they are. They have a bit of an incline, so they feel like having the high ground. So really love that. Really love that. And if you go higher up here, you don't really have too many peaks in here. I mean, you go higher and then you get another little peak. There's the other one sleeping in the back. Look at that. There you go. Just like sitting in here. And man, I just love that. And if you just go further, you can have another peak to the inside. As I already explained, this is just like for the winter time. If they want to have like a little bit of a nice, go at some climbing inside and outside, it's snowy or rainy or whatnot. And then obviously we have their backstage gate and stuff, which is very, bare bone. There's some water tap over here, can be closed off. And, this is the access for the staff members. We've got some cupboards and stuff in the back, and just very bare bone everything, to keep them inside. And yeah, that's all about the habitat from this angle, but obviously we're going to fly over with the freeload now to see that from above, and here you can see the full footprint. And isn't that just beautiful? Look at it, look at it. Oh, it's just the pure magnificence of it. And oh, look at that. What are you doing over here? This looks kind of friendly. What are you doing now? Just checking your vibe and doing a little growl, whatever. Mate. Oh, look at that with the mouth. Little sniffy sniff. Ah, the animation of this thing is just... Ah, look at that. Like licking the paws. Can we also get like a little bit of a different light angle here? Like, it's kind of hard to get it right. Very early in the morning. No, okay, so it's actually more like an evening. Okay. I wish to have like a bit of a better angle here to get it into nice sunlight, but there you go. We can also have it this way. And then look at this, just how it's sitting there, enjoying its little time. We can also zoom in a tiny bit here. There you go. Oh, look at that. What a picture perfect frame that is. Love it. So yeah, this is how the habitat looks. We can actually hit play again, see how it looks its paws and just chills there, and everyone can have a look here, and then the upper area. So yeah, if we zoom out, you can really tell what you're expecting, what you can expect. This is just from my live stream, by the way. Don't mind this. What's going up next? So this is actually the amount of trees and stuff we'll have in here. So it's going to be very overgrown, as you can see from here too. It's going to be very foresty. I'm just trying to balance out enough sunlight to make it look nice, and then again, just make it realistic. Because, well, to be completely honest, I would even need more trees than that to make it even more foresty. But then you can't really see anything, and it looks really not that nice in the game anymore. Which is a bit of a sad thing, but it is just reality, so you have to do it the way it is. And yeah, so this is then the finish. Let's just put our camera over here and end the episode at that very spot. It has been an absolute blast building this one. I have been so much into it. It's been a long time that I've been so involved into making a video like that, because I don't know, I got carried away making this habitat. I could have gone on for hours and hours to make it even better, but I really am happy with how it turned out to be looking now. And yeah, I'm now sitting here waiting for your feedback in the comments down below, and make sure for the next episode, which is going to be most likely the, yeah, not sure if it's the Tarkin or the Wiesent, but I'm going to decide this following your comments, what you want to see next, and also the stories that you come up with just as a story for that one. So yeah, let me know in the comments down below. I really do appreciate, and hopefully you guys enjoyed it as much as I did. And if there's one thing you could do for me, please consider subscribing to the channel. That would help me out a lot. Lately it's been a little bit stopping, and you know, just telling YouTube that you like the stuff. And please make sure that you're aware of if you're subscribed or not, because YouTube keeps on deleting your subscriptions if you're being inactive or whatnot. Not sure why they do this, but that's kind of a little thing. Just check it, and if you're subscribed, fine. If not, hit that button, and we're all good friends, you know, and it's for free. Good stuff. Yeah, anyways, not much more to say. I really enjoyed this episode. Hopefully you guys could have, you know, felt the vibe and atmosphere. And so, yeah, that's that. Have a wonderful time, and enjoy your upcoming weekend. Enjoy your time. Stay safe, everyone, and goodbye.